The God of War franchise is one of the best franchises that gaming has to offer. But being an Xbox kid when I was growing up, the only God of War game that I've ever played from start to finish is God of War 3. So I've never played God of War 1 and 2. So that's why I decided today to just go ahead and platinum the entire original God of War trilogy, starting with God of War 1. The first step was to complete the story on any difficulty. I decided to just take the easy route and complete it on easy. I actually already played through most of this game off camera before I decided to make a video on this. So that's why you're seeing just a few of the story related trophies. Along my journey, I also got some trophies for getting collectibles. I got this trophy called Stick It in Your Cap, which is obtained by collecting all of the Phoenix feathers. There's also two trophies, one relating to collecting all of the Gorgon eyes and another one for collecting all of the Muse keys. I got those two trophies off camera, so I do not have any footage of me getting those, but here is proof that I actually got them. Another trophy that I got throughout my playthrough was this trophy called You Got the Touch. Basically, there's a part in the game where you are in the realm of Hades, and there are a bunch of spiked columns that you have to climb up. What I had to do was climb up the spiked column in Hades without taking any damage. If I took damage, I had to reload the checkpoint and try it again. Luckily, the trophy popped after only climbing one spiked column. Eventually, I got to the end of the game, which is the epic boss fight between Kratos and Ares. And once I beat that, I got a trophy for killing Ares, and then also a trophy for completing the game. So now, after completing the game, it was time for me to complete something called the Challenge of the Gods. This is basically a gauntlet of different challenges that you have to go through and complete all in one sitting, and if you complete it, you get a trophy, and there is one of these in each God of War game that I'm going to be playing today. But the Challenge of the Gods in God of War 1 was by far the hardest one out of the entire trilogy. There are 10 challenges in total. The first challenge was pretty easy. All I had to do was knock 8 enemies off the platform. The 8 enemies were shielded enemies, so all I did for this was attempt to grab them, which basically like pushes them a little bit. Then once I knocked them all off, I completed the challenge. Objective number 2 was to kill all the archers and undead soldiers before the time runs out. This one wasn't that hard either. It took me a couple tries, but all I had to do was jump platform to platform and kill every enemy that was standing on the platform. I did not need to worry about the harpies at all. Again, this one was super easy. Got it done in a couple attempts. Challenge number 3 was to break all of the pots before the time runs out. Again, another super easy challenge. They give you plenty of time to go around and break every pot. The next challenge was to kill 4 minotaurs, but none of the undead soldiers. At first, I was kind of just winging it and kind of just trying to separate the minotaurs from the undead soldiers. But then after a while, what I did is I just used Medusa's head to freeze them and then take them out that way. Once I did that, the challenge was pretty much a breeze. Challenge number 5 was to shoot all of the undead soldiers, but to not shoot any of the human soldiers. This one I actually just looked up a guide for, and then once I looked up the guide, it was pretty easy. What you have to do is here you see you are controlling a ballista, and basically once the undead soldier hits this position right here, that is when you start to pull back on the ballista, and then instantly fire it once it's ready. And I just followed that the whole time, and I got it done in the first attempt that I started doing that strategy. Challenge number 6 was to reach the center of the end platform before the time runs out. This one was really easy, basically just some platforming. Your only obstacle was archers that were shooting explosive arrows while you jump, but still that wasn't really that bad. I got this done in like my second attempt. Challenge number 7 was the one where it started to get a little difficult. Challenge number 7 was to kill all of the enemies and to not get hit at all. This one was a little difficult. It gave me some troubles, but it really wasn't that bad once I started using this strategy. Basically, as soon as the challenge loaded, I would use this attack right here to slam the ground, kind of separate them all, and then I would start going to town on just trying to clear out all of the normal enemies and then take out the minotaurs. I got this done in like my 3rd or 4th attempt. It really wasn't that bad. Challenge number 8 was the first challenge that just really started to get on my nerves. Challenge number 8 was to just simply kill all the enemies. Doesn't seem that bad, right? But it was. There is a constant spawn, and I mean constant spawn of just soldiers and gorgons, and lots of them. You didn't have any magic. You couldn't use no magic at all, and they just do not stop spawning. I mean, I was sitting here for some attempts, literally sitting here for like 10 minutes trying to kill all of these enemies, and they would just keep on coming. And the annoying part of the whole thing is you have to keep on rolling so you don't get frozen by the gorgons, because if you do and a soldier is in the midst of their attack, you're dead instantly, and then you have to restart the whole entire challenge from the start. It took me like at least an hour to beat this challenge alone. Dude, oh my god. Not only is that one of the hardest things I've ever done in a God of War game, that's one of the hardest things I've ever done in a game, period. I'm going to get evicted from my apartment. Challenge number 9, I actually have no footage for some reason, but it was super easy. It was just to kill 4 Cyclops. Nothing really that crazy. Challenge number 10 was by far the most painful, annoying challenge that I have ever done in a video game. Even the guide says this challenge sucks big time. Literally, that's the first thing it says on the guide. And he was right. Literally, pretty much on this one, you just had to get lucky. For this challenge, you had to kill a bunch of satyrs and Cerberus pups. And for each enemy you kill, it causes this tiny platform that you are standing on to rise just a little bit. And basically what you need to do for this challenge is stay on this platform, kill enough enemies, and survive until it reaches all the way to the top platform, which you then jump, and then that's when the challenge completes. Doesn't seem that bad, right? Wrong. Because the satyrs have an unblockable attack where they can grab you with their hook and toss you over their heads. And if you do block one of their attacks, it launches you across the platform with ease. So basically my strategy for this challenge was to keep doing this same move over and over again, where I'll launch a satyr into the air, kind of do like a spinning attack in midair with my blades, and then that would knock the satyrs off of the platform. The even more painful part of this challenge was I reached the top of this platform. Twice did I reach all the way to the top of the platform, tried to make the leap of faith all the way to the top, and then was too short and fell, and then I had to restart the challenge again. This challenge took me about another hour and a half to do, but here's my reaction to when I finally beat this challenge. Oh my god. Thank God. That was literally the hardest thing I've ever done. I never want to do that again. I never, ever want to do that again. Give me that freaking trophy. Yes. I'll take the physical challenge. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, doing that. Okay, so apparently you also get a trophy for watching this thing right here, the Birth of the Beast. So if we watch it, do we really have to watch the whole thing? Okay. Oh, there we go. It's Legend of the Twins. Now it wants to give it to me. All right. After completing the challenge of the gods, I had 3 more trophies left. The main trophy that I was going for was this trophy, Speed of Jason McDonald, where I had to beat the game in under 5 hours. That may sound pretty difficult, but it actually really isn't as difficult as it may seem. The second trophy I was going for was this trophy called Seeing Red, which was to max out all weapons and magic. I didn't do this on my first playthrough, but I'll let you know how I easily did this in my speedrun playthrough in a minute. And then the third trophy was to get a 200 hits combo. Now these trophies may seem like a little bit of a daunting task. I have to beat the game in 5 hours, max out all my magic and weapons, and then also get a 200 hits combo. But there was one thing in this game that made that challenge actually really easy. Once you complete God of War 1, you get a bunch of different outfits that you can wear, which grant a bunch of different abilities. The outfit I chose was this outfit called the Dairy Bastard, which is basically dresses up Kratos in a cow costume and makes him look just absolutely ridiculous. This costume gives me 2 times all color orbs, which means I get 2 times red orbs, blue orbs, and also green orbs, but then also grants me infinite magic. It also cuts the amount of damage I do in half, but I'm playing on easy, so it didn't really matter. I did the 200 hits combo in this room right here when I first acquired Poseidon's Rage. All I did was just sit here, spam the hell out of it until I eventually got the 200 hits combo. Wasn't that hard. Because I got 2 times red orbs throughout the entire game, I was able to upgrade all my stuff pretty easily. We should have enough to fully max out all of my skills, and we do. Once we power this up, we should get another trophy for maxing out every weapon and magic in the game. It's almost done. There it is. Army of Hades level 3. That's everything maxed out, and we should get the trophy. There we go. Seeing Red. We can't really, freaking view the trophy because stupid PS3 emulator. And now last but not least, here is when I finally beat the game in under 5 hours. Alright, so we are at the end of God of War, and as you can see right here, it's freaking Milkman, dude. As you can see from this save, we are 3 hours and 53 minutes. That's well under 5 hours, which is what we need for the trophy. So once we sit on our throne and take our place as the God of War, the Milkman God of... There we go. Speed of Jason McDonald. And oh my god, so quick. Trophy of Zeus. There is the platinum trophy on God of War 1. Alright, so that's 1 down. We got 2 more to go. Let's now move on to God of War 2. God of War 2 takes everything that the first God of War did and does it better. God of War 2 was definitely the easiest game to platinum out of the entire trilogy, and this game's trophy list is very similar to the first God of War as well. I'm going to show you through a compilation of some of the story-related trophies in this game. Most of the trophies on this trophy list are story-related and unmissable. We got some returning collectibles that we needed to get from God of War 1 in God of War 2, which brings me to my first set of collectibles that I finished was the Gorgon Eyes. Once I collected all of the Gorgon Eyes, I got got the trophy named I Can't Believe It. Another miscellaneous trophy that I got during my playthrough was this trophy called Stoner, and all I had to do for this one was stone and shatter 30 enemies. This one wasn't that hard. I used the Medusa's head a lot in this game, so I got this one pretty easily. The next miscellaneous trophy that I got was a trophy named Supersize, and in this game you had to get a 500 hits combo. When I first looked at this, I was like, holy crap, how am I going to do that? But it actually wasn't that hard. So in this little hallway right here, there are a bunch of enemies, and all I did was use Kronos' Rage a bunch of times, and I actually ended up getting the trophy pretty easily. I actually ended up getting like a 750 hits combo, but obviously I only needed 500 for the trophy. Another returning collectible from the first game were the Phoenix Feathers. I ended up getting all of the Phoenix Feathers as well in my first playthrough, which granted me the trophy, Go Make a Pillow. In the first God of War, I didn't max out all my weapons in magic in the first playthrough, but in this game, I managed to do so, and by maxing out all my weapons in magic, it granted me the trophy, Blowing Your Wad. This next trophy that I went for is named 15-minute fight scene, and this was actually a missable one. What I had to do for this one was battle my way to the Loom Chamber in under 10 minutes. Now, I was actually playing the game on easy, so this one actually wasn't that hard to acquire. After defeating the first two Sisters of Fate, you then have to battle through this chamber to get to the third Sister of Fate. All I had to do was battle through a bunch of enemies to get there, and like I said, I was playing on easy, so it was super easy to get through, and I ended up getting the trophy on my first shot. So I ended up getting most of the missable slash collectible trophies in my first playthrough, but there was one trophy that I missed and I ended up having to go back and get later, called You Know the Germans Make Good Stuff, which what I had to do was collect all of the Uber chests. I'll explain what those do later on when I'm going for the trophy. So after getting the 15-minute fight scene trophy, there were 3 things I had to do left in the game, which was to defeat the third Sister of Fate. After I defeated her, it was now time for my boss fight with Zeus. Once I defeated Zeus, I got a trophy named Daddy Issues, and then after that, I also got another trophy for completing the game. So now that I defeated the game, it's time for another Challenge of the Gods. This time in this game, it's called Challenge of the Titans. But in this game, it is not nearly as hard to do as it was in God of War 1. My first challenge was to simply rip out a Cyclops eye. This one was pretty easy. All I had to do was battle a Cyclops until I get the circle prompt above its head, and then I had to do the QTEs, and if I do them successfully, it will rip out the Cyclops eye. This challenge is actually important for a trophy that I ended up getting later on. Challenge number 2 was to kill at least 10 enemies in the air before the time runs out. This one was a little bit annoying, I'm not gonna lie. What I did for this challenge was just spam this move right here, which launches enemies in the air if they're around you, and then try to combo them as much as I could in the air. This one wasn't that bad, it was just a little annoying, but I shouldn't really be getting annoyed in challenge number 2. Challenge number 3 actually did take me a little bit. What I had to do for this one was stone shatter at least 25 enemies before the time runs out. So during your playthrough in God of War 2, you get something called the Golden Fleece, which basically is something that allows you, if you time a perfect block, you then do a pretty strong counter move to the enemy if you successfully do one. So basically what I did for this one was wait for the Gorgon to do her beam, which freezes you, and then I had to do a well-timed block, and if I did that correctly, a QTE prompt would then appear on my screen, and if I did it correctly, it results in turning every enemy within the range into stone. This one is a little tough because as you get deeper and deeper into the challenge, stronger enemies start spawning, such as Minotaurs, Cyclopses. Luckily, this challenge didn't take me that long. I did end up completing it within 15 to 20 minutes. And now here comes challenge number 4, by far the most painful challenge of this entire gauntlet. The description for this challenge was to defend the translator from being killed. The translator health will drain outside of the ring. So obviously in this challenge, there is a man that we have to protect, and we have to prevent all of the different enemies from killing this guy. On top of that, there is a ring that is located in the arena that he must stay in or his health will drain, and that ring moves around the arena. Now there is a statue in the arena that you can use to slow down time so you can safely move the translator from circle to circle, but the problem wasn't keeping the translator inside the circle, it was the enemies that spawned from the challenge. You got sirens, satyrs, I still don't know if I'm saying that right, cyclopses, and they all do a ridiculous amount of damage. He dies really easily, and obviously all of these enemies have a ridiculous amount of health as well, so this challenge was just flat out painful. This was definitely the challenge that I struggled on the hardest. I eventually ended up completing this challenge in like 40 minutes. There was not a single challenge that took me over an hour in this whole Challenge of the Titans, unlike Challenge of the Gods and God of War 1. There were 2 challenges that took me over an hour to complete. Challenge number 5 was to rack up big combos and collect at least 500 orbs before the time runs out. This challenge was really easy because I had magic and I had maxed out Athena's blades. I also had a maxed out Blade of Olympus as well, which is the strongest weapon in the game. Challenge number 6 was not hard, it was just kind of annoying. For this challenge, the description is the gods have cursed you and are taking away your health. Kill all your enemies to survive. And this challenge lasted about 8 to 10 minutes. So basically I had to do exactly what I said. I had to continue to kill enemies. Each enemy I kill refills my health bar and my health bar keeps draining over time. I was able to use magic for this challenge as well, as long as I maxed out Blade of Olympus, so it wasn't really that bad. And the last challenge I needed to do was to kill all my enemies without being hit. On the guide, it says this is the toughest challenge and may give you a headache, but honestly, this challenge wasn't that bad to me. I looked up a guide on how to do this challenge pretty easily, and once I did that, it actually wasn't that bad. And once I beat this challenge, I finally completed the challenge of the Titans and got the trophy, Bleeding Thumbs. Now going back to when I said the first challenge of this was pretty important for a trophy I needed later, in God of War 2 there is a new collectible added to the game called Cyclops Eyes, and you need 20 of them. And what I did to get this trophy was just complete this challenge over and over again until I got 20 eyes. Really easy. Once I got 20 eyes, it gave me the trophy Eyesore. Another collectible added to God of War 2 are the Urns of Power. Once you collect the Urn of Power, it grants you a certain ability that you can use in your New Game Plus playthrough. And by the way, this is the only God of War out of the entire trilogy that actually has New Game Plus. And I didn't need it on this game, but I needed it on both God of War 1 and 3. But yeah, all I had to do for a trophy named Feel the Urn was collect and use at least 2 Urns of Power, so I didn't even need to collect them all. And for my final trophy, it's a trophy that I mentioned before, which was to collect all of the Uber chests. There are 3 Uber chests located throughout the entire game, and these are special chests that look different from a usual item slash orb chest. You get 3 things for opening up all of these chests. One thing is a large quantity of red orbs, a permanent increase to your health meter, and a permanent increase to your magic meter. So I had to go back and play through not the whole game, but most of the game again to collect all of these Uber chests. Here's me getting my final Uber chest, which granted me the trophy You Know the Germans Make Good Stuff, and then finally the trophy of Gaia, the platinum trophy for God of War 2. But now it's time to move on to the best game in the entire trilogy, God of War 3. God of War 3 is my personal favorite of the original trilogy. This game has lots and lots of high action as long as epic boss fights as well. But this game was the most difficult game to play through normally, and that's because we have to do a playthrough on hard difficulty in order to get a trophy. The game picks off directly after where God of War 2 ended, and then we instantly have a boss fight against Poseidon. Once I defeated Poseidon, we got a trophy for it. In this God of War, there was less story related trophies and more miscellaneous trophies that we had to do. My first miscellaneous trophy came when I had to upgrade a weapon for the first time. Moving on through the game a little bit, I got another miscellaneous trophy by discovering the secret Hades arm room. Here's a couple story related trophies. I got one trophy for killing Hades and getting his claws, and then another trophy for severing the Titan Gaia's hand. Moving on a little bit more in this little fight section before we face the god Helios, I got 2 more miscellaneous trophies. One I got by ripping apart an Olympus Sentry, and then another trophy named Bloody Hell where I had to cover Kratos in 500 buckets of blood. And then once that little section was over, I got a trophy for killing the god of the sun, Helios. A little time through the game passes, but eventually we get to the god Hermes. And similar to the rest of God of War 3, I get a trophy for killing Hermes and getting his boots. Moving on a little bit more throughout the game, I get another trophy for killing Hercules. The common theme with the story related trophies in this game is basically killing your family. Right after you kill Hercules, you get to a place called Poseidon's Chamber. And here's where I sat for a little bit to grind a couple of the miscellaneous trophies in the game. There were 3 trophies in the game that were involved with killing enemies with certain weapons. The first trophy I got, named It's Getting Hot in Here, was acquired by burning 100 enemies with the bow of Apollo. Now basically in this little section of Poseidon's Chamber, there is an infinite amount of spawning hounds, so that's how I was able to grind out these 3 trophies. The next trophy I got was named Nice Tan, which was for blinding 100 enemies with the head of Helios, and then the last trophy I got was named Obedient School, which was to deliver 50 kicks to hounds. After that, I got a trophy that I can't show, so here's just the trophy popping up. Then next, I got another miscellaneous trophies named No Guts, No Glory, which I got for gutting 3 centaurs. After that, we have an epic boss fight with Kronos. We get 1 trophy for opening up this gate right here, and then another trophy by killing Kronos. And now here I'm going to show you a couple collectible trophies. So the same repeating collectibles that have been in all 3 God of War games, the Phoenix Feather and the Gorgon Eyes. The first trophy I got was for collecting all of the Phoenix Feathers. The next trophy I got was for collecting all of the Gorgon Eyes. That one was named Eye Candy. And then there was a new collectible added to God of War 3 named Minotaur Horns. What Minotaur Horns did is they gave you an increase to your item bar. The item bar was used for certain things like Helios's head or the Apollo's bow. So I eventually got a trophy for collecting all of the Minotaur horns as well. I got another trophy for getting through Hela's Gardens here as a little puzzle. Directly after that, I got another trophy named Sold Out. So the Claws of Hades has a special ability where you can summon a soul to help you out when you're battling enemies. And the trophy Sold Out was acquired once I summoned every soul with the Claw of Hades. So now here comes one of the most annoying trophies in the game. This trophy is named Amazed, and I had to beat the labyrinth without dying or failing. Basically what the labyrinth is a group of puzzles and combat sections that I needed to do to get through this little section of the game while I'm trying to save Pandora. And I had to do puzzles like this, kill enemies that were just non-stop spawning, and I had to do puzzles that were timed, all without dying or failing. If I did, I had to reload the save and start all the way from the beginning of the labyrinth. Don't forget, all while doing this on hard difficulty. So yeah, this definitely took me a couple tries. Halfway through the labyrinth, I got a trophy for saving Pandora. After a little bit, I was finally successful and ended up getting the trophy. So yeah, that was pretty much the final trophy for the main story. And the only trophy I needed left was to kill Zeus, the final boss. And yeah, Zeus was not easy by any means. He was not an easy boss. This was definitely the hardest boss that I've ever had to face in the entire franchise so far. Most of that is because I played the game on hard and every other God of War I played on easy. But yeah, after about 45 minutes, I was finally successful and Kratos got his vengeance and killed Zeus. Which brings you to the end of the game, and I got 2 trophies for beating the game. One called Vengeance Complete, which is just to beat the game, and another trophy called Unhuman, which is for beating the game on the hardest difficulty. So now all I needed to do was clean up a couple trophies and do my third challenge of the gods. This one was called Challenge of Olympus. We'll start out by doing 2 trophies that I missed during my playthrough. The first trophy I missed was collecting all of the godly possessions. The godly possessions were a collectible just like the urns in God of War 2, as if you collect them, they give you certain abilities that you can use in your second time playing the game. I missed one godly possession in my playthrough. Luckily, it was at the beginning of the game, so all I had to do was go through a little bit of the prologue. And then here is me collecting the final godly possession that I needed. Another trophy that I missed in my playthrough was a trophy named Maxed Out, a returning trophy from both God of War 1 and 2, and this trophy was to completely upgrade all weapons. So luckily I used one of the saves that I had from when I was doing the Amaze trophy. I was able to go into that save and get some chests that I missed when I played the game through the first time, and I ended up getting enough orbs to upgrade all my weapons, thank God. Now it was time for another challenge gauntlet thing. This one was called Challenge of Olympus. This one was definitely the easiest one compared to God of War 1 and 2. There was 7 challenges in this one. There were 3 that I actually didn't record. The 4 challenges I had left was to allow Gorgons to turn me into stone 10 times without dying. I had to get 5 Cyclops to spawn on the stage all at once. Basically how that challenge worked is when you kill 1 Cyclops, then 2 would spawn, making the count of the Cyclops on the stage going up by 1 each time you kill a Cyclops. I had to not get gored by the Minotaurs or to not get piled on by all the enemies. Basically don't get hit. That's basically what that one is. And then the last challenge was called Knockout, which was to score 1,000 points by knocking enemies out of the arena. After completing those challenges, I got the trophy up to the challenge, and I never have to do another Challenge of the Gods, Challenge of the Titans, Challenge of Olympus. I never have to do one of those again. And thank God, because they were annoying. Lastly, my final trophy that I needed to platinum God of War 3 was to get a 1,000 hits combo. We went from 100 hits to 500 hits to now 1,000 hits. And I'll show you right here how I got my final trophy. Okay, so this is the final trophy we need in the entire trilogy. We got to make sure we keep this 1,000 hit combo. And there we go. Hitman, 1,000 hit combo. And come on, give it to me. King of the Hill, platinum trophy on all 3 of the original God of Wars. Let me know what trilogy you guys want me to do next. And if you guys want to see more platinums, click on this playlist right here.